I want to show you how to audit your website using the Google tool called Lighthouse. And again, you go to the Google Chrome profiler.
This video is brought to you by EpiPies Academy.
Because I'm using Mac, it's Command Option I. And then this pops up, and what you do is perform an audit because I already have this as a default. If you don't have this as a default, it's one of the tabs here you see as I am hovering over. And if you don't see this as one of your options, it's right here. The double arrow will have this for you because I used it before. It automatically kind of dynamically changed my most commonly used items. So you click on perform an audit, and performing an audit takes a little bit of time. So I'm going to skip right ahead, and I'm going to show you results of the audit of my site. Now, these are the results of the audit of this website. Remember, keep in mind that, I haven't really done a lot of optimization on this site. So you see some of the performance issues aren't that good. Although thanks Google, I appreciate that they appreciate my SEO 89. In any case, what I wanted to show you here is something else. Is they literally show you how long it takes for your site to load, and literally you see that 1.3, 2.6, how many seconds it takes, and so you see that it takes about 6.4 seconds in this page's case for things to start really loading for people to be able to use it. And in my case, I can tell, like the dark background color is not loading fast enough, and maybe there's something I can do with it. I haven't checked yet, but in my case, maybe I should check, is it the CSS? Why is it the CSS loading so slowly? It shouldn't. Maybe there's something that CSS is waiting for, and so it's a debugging opportunity, and it's something that it seems like it's pretty simple to debug. Probably there are some CSS libraries or JavaScript libraries, and maybe they're clashing and one is waiting for another. Who knows? But it seems like, at least at first glance, and I could be totally wrong because I haven't researched it deeply, but at least you see how this can structure your thinking on what to debug. Because right now, these pictures, I see immediately that the actual text takes about like you see right here, 3.9 to 3.9 seconds. It's loaded, which is relatively acceptable amount of time. But the CSS, which is the black background color, and the picture took 6.4 seconds, which is less good. And of course, the picture here is not that relevant. It can load later, but for this particular site's readability, the black background really, it's only a styling element, but it prevents readability. So it's a problem here. So, and that's one issue that is really helpful and can immediately show you what to start debugging. Now, I want to walk you through a few other elements that are very interesting here, and so that we can kind of tell, hey, let's explore what the issues are, and you can focus on. So you can see some things. Some things, they're a little bit hard to understand what Google means by that. Okay, but they do say first meaningful paint. What's meaningful for them may be different, but you see that they do show that here, right? It's this paint, and it could be meaningful if the background loaded. Okay, first interactive paint, and you can see that if I scroll, it's here. So that's when they say the page has totally loaded and the user can start interacting with the page, and that's unacceptable for Google, right? It's 12 seconds. It's very bad. Now they show you consistently interactive, and it's a little technical here. Perceptual speed index, in how quickly the contents are populated so that people actually can start reading as opposed to interacting. That's it's all impactful for the user. And the user latency is how long it takes for the site to respond to user input. In this case, there's not a lot of user input here. It's not too interactive. It's mostly informational and links, so it's not a big issue on my particular page. Then opportunities for improvement. This is very interesting. They talk about serving images differently. You can save a lot of space. and they show the problematic images, and they're very easy to fix. It literally tells you what the image is, how much space it's taking, and then you can immediately go and decrease the image size of all of these images. And scroll down, down, down. Then you see other issues that are affecting you, off-screen images. And then they talk about text compression, a lot of script issues. These are all things we cover in other places of the course. You can, and they give you places to debug. Like, I literally have unused CSS rules, so that's great. I can just get rid of that right away. So there's a lot of very quick wins, and who knows what, maybe some part of CSS is holding up other parts of the rendering. So this can really all help. And then there's Diagnostics area about different parts of performance, gets into some technical issues like JavaScript booting up, and there's some invisible text issues that I have, at least with my page. Talks about caching. It's complaining about enormous. Well, that's weird that they use enormous network payloads. So generally, they explain, you can look into, and again, it's the image problem. So in my case, they literally tell me what the problems are. Then they talk about some other technical issues like HTTPS, secure HTTP, and other things I can fix, and other a lot of suggestions here. I don't want to bore you too much, but if you go one by one, in your site's case, it will be different. So to look at every detail of my site's problems, it's not going to help you necessarily. For you, what's going to happen is, if you're technical, you would just go through one by one and see what the problems are on your site. And if you're not very technical, which most people generally aren't, like most people who aren't technical, you would start to work through with your developer and focus. And when you are working with your developer, or actually when you are doing it on your own. So even fixing all of these issues one by one, some of them are quick. There's a lot I can do in one day. But some I have to spend time researching and figuring out how to fix. And whether you're doing it on your own, or whether you're hiring a freelancer or a developer who's helping you with this, it takes time. And that means money. Okay? Even if you do it on your own, there's something you could have been doing on your own, for the day or two that it will take you to fix all these issues. You could have been promoting your site. You could have been doing other things. So it's really a decision for you whether you need to fix all these issues, or whether you will fix, like, almost the 80-20 rule comes into play, where if you fix the 20 of the worst offending issues, you will be able to increase your page speed dramatically, and that will probably be enough. And the other fixes will become lower priority. You should get to them later, but you probably have other higher priority things you'll need to do. So I'd recommend spending a day on this, maybe half a day, just improving the image sizes, the very basic things that you personally can do that are low-hanging fruit for you, and then seeing, consulting a developer for more complicated things and getting their quote on how much it will cost to fix these things for you. And that way you'll be able to reasonably fix a lot of things on your own and cheaply with the developer. And most likely the things that will be left over are not going to be, there are going to be so few things left over that it's generally going to be in most cases, it's going to be okay to leave them as they are. So that's the strategy for fixing these and not wasting too much time and money doing so.